And now the next game, the Patriots versus Bills. Now, they split in the regular season. The first one, the Patriots won when Mac Jones only attempted 3 pass attempts. Then the very next game, the Bills won. It was a much more significant statement win for the Bills because I didn't really think it was much of a close game in that one. It felt like the Bills controlled the majority of the game. The Bills are on a 4-game win streak heading into this game, and the Patriots have lost 3 of their last 4. Do you think the Patriots somehow upset the Bills in this one, or are you taking the Bills?
This is pretty easy for me, and it's ironic because I've been extremely down on the Bills early in the season to mid part of the season. I needed them to get a run game. That's the only thing that was holding me back from going all in on the Bills. If the Bills get a solid running back option, this will be the scariest and most dangerous team in the AFC, in my opinion. I truly believe the way that they have cooked up lately, the way that they've been utilizing Devin Singletary out of the backfield, the fact that Josh Allen's rushing impact has had as strong of an impact as it has had on these most recent games, I have to acknowledge when I'm wrong. I have to admit that Josh Allen's rushing game can be enough for the Bills to have success so long as they continue to utilize Devin Singletary the way that they have. And it's been working for them lately against the Patriots, whose issue is rush defense. You saw just this past weekend, week 18, against the Dolphins, where Duke Johnson ran absolutely crazy on them, averaged over 5 yards a carry. Duke Johnson was one of the main reasons why the Dolphins did come away with the W. There is going to be a serious issue if Josh Allen and Devin Singletary are both clicking. I have no doubts with Josh Allen coming to play. The only thing that scares me a little bit is that this game is going to be played in 0 to 1 degree weather. So it's going to impact both teams. And from what we saw the first time these two teams matched up, it was a lot of Patriots running the football. And we know the Bills' weakness is also rush defense. And Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson sprinkle a dash of Brandon Bolden in that are arguably the best running back trio that are in the playoffs right now. I do believe ultimately the Bills are playing too hot football right now. I think the Patriots defense is starting to lose its steam. And so long as Devin Singletary is getting the usage that he has been getting of late, I do think the Bills come away with this W. The Patriots, to me, overachieved this season. And what they did this year, they have earned nothing but respect from me. Mac Jones has taken great strides in his game from week 1 to now. I just ultimately think that their time is up and the Bills are just the hotter team.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Joel says here because I believe he has different opinions of both of us, Drew. So Joel, why don't you go?
All right. What do you think I'm gonna pick the Patriots to win this game?
I think you're on the pass side. Am I wrong?
You are completely wrong.
Okay. Wow, he's falling off.
I'm not falling off. It's just for one, to begin the year, I picked the Bills to make it out the AFC. And are they Josh Allen centric? Absolutely. They're still Josh Allen centric. But they're just playing better football right now. And I think the Patriots, to a degree, have gotten figured out. I mean, you talk about Mac Jones. You made a statement there, Drew, that I didn't agree with. You said Mac Jones has gotten better from week 1 to now. I don't think so. I think he's regressed. And right now, he's hit a rookie wall. Like, I see Mac Jones, he's hit a rookie wall. His last 4 games, he has completed 60% of his passes, which is down from his usual number. He has 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. And take notice into this that one of those games was against Jacksonville, where he threw 3 touchdowns and no picks. So against the other 3 teams, against the Dolphins and the Bills, 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. I think he's hit a rookie wall, and it's not entirely his fault. We know the Patriots have a great system, but because the Patriots have such a great system, people like to overlook that they just don't have much talent on the outside. If Kendrick Bourne is your best receiver or Jacoby Myers or whoever, it's really 1A, 1B kind of guy. You know, they're good receivers, but they aren't game-changing. You can't trust them to win one-on-ones consistently. And Hunter Henry, he's an okay tight end, but he's very inconsistent. And Jonnu Smith hasn't been what he's been with Tennessee in New England. So I think the Patriots have hit a wall with Mac Jones. He's hit a rookie wall. and you look at their defense, it hasn't been very good. They gave up 33 to Miami. When you're giving up 33 points to a Tua-led offense, something is wrong. There is a major problem. Sound the fire alarm right away. You give up 33 to Buffalo, then 27 to Indy. So these past 4 games outside of Jacksonville, the Patriots defense has also gotten exposed in each aspect. Versus the Colts, Jonathan Taylor running all over them. Then versus the Bills, Josh Allen passing all over them and having 3 touchdowns. So I think that, and versus the Dolphins, it was a mixture of both. So I think the Patriots have hit a wall. There was a point in the season where they were the hottest team in the NFL, but I think that's come to an end. The Bills have ran for over 100 yards in 5 straight games, so that's a good sign by them as well. Even though I don't think they need to run the ball to win, it sure does help a little bit to keep defenses on their toes, but ultimately the Bills are the better team. Josh Allen is the better quarterback, and they're just playing better football right now.
I'm glad if you guys were watching the YouTube video, you might have saw me smiling before when you guys were talking about Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers. I'm glad you came around, Joel, because I remember earlier in the season we had to look up Kendrick Bourne's stats because you guys were telling me he was this really good receiver, and I'm over here saying he's a guy. He's a guy. Drew, you're the
more than a guy
here, man. I had to tell both of you guys, these outside weapons are not that good.
You told me Keelan Cole was better, bro.
Maybe that was wrong, but Kendrick Bourne's still not good.
I think he is good.
He's all right. He's fine. He's a guy. What I'm saying? He's okay.
Is he a number 1? He's not a number 1, but he's a good receiver. Why can't he be a number 2? Why can't he be a number 2?
He's not number 2.
So you tell me you put him next to Stephon Diggs, he can't excel as a number 2?
He could be fine. He's not going to be extraordinary.
He's a good number 2. I would like him as a number 2. He's not a number 1, but as a number 2.
I wouldn't be thrilled. I'd be fine if he's a depth piece for me, but I don't think he's number 2. But that's regardless. We're not going to get into a Patriots wide receiver room debate here because I think we all agree they don't have great wide receivers. They have guys. But to move on into this Bills-Patriots game, I was a little surprised, Joel, because I thought you were going to be on the Pat side here, but it's going to be a clean sweep back in this game. I also think the Bills are going to win. I'm not as worried as the weather as you are, Drew. If there's going to be high wind, precipitation, okay, fine, you have a point. 0-degree weather, as long as it's not windy, rainy, the ball's not slippery, I'm not that worried. Buffalo's used to playing in that weather, and so is New England. So I don't think it's going to impact those teams, as much as we're expecting, unless for some reason the weather changes and we're expected to have 20, 30-mile-an-hour winds, then things could change there. But I think this game is going to be a lot like we saw in Week 16. Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. He threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was also the leading rusher for the Bills. I'm not thrilled about it. I mean, it kind of reminds me of early years of Big Ben where he was taking a ton of hits running the ball, and we saw later on in his career really impacted him. So I'm hoping next year, like you said, Drew, they could get a really good running back in there so it takes a little bit of stress off Josh Allen and his body because he's a special quarterback. I want to see him keep playing. The Pats, they did an all right job in terms of nothing was over the top. Josh Allen was only completed 1 pass of 20-plus air yards. On throws, 19 air yards and less. He completed 83% of his passes. So it wasn't a lot of over-the-top stuff, burning guys with Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis or anything like that. The O-line played well as well. They only allowed 11 pressures, 0 sacks. And Joel's right. Mac Jones has definitely regressed over these last few weeks, including that game against Buffalo. He completed less than 50% of his passes, only 145 yards, 2 interceptions. So I don't really know what's going on with Mac. I think everyone kind of got on his bandwagon too quick. I said it a few weeks ago. This is what we were expecting from Mac. We knew coming into the season, he's the most pro-ready quarterback. He's probably going to look the best, but he also probably has the lowest ceiling. That doesn't mean he could not be a Pro Bowl quarterback and take the Patriots to go and win playoff games, but he doesn't have the same ceiling as a Josh Allen or, these elite quarterbacks. So I do agree that Mac has regressed as well. When I look at the Bills team, though, and just how both of these teams are trending, Joel, you said it, the Bills are on a 4-game win streak, including that victory over the Patriots. During that win streak, they've really dominated both sides of the ball, scoring no less than 27 points while not allowing more than 21 points. The Patriots, on the other hand, although they were on a 7-game win streak midseason, they've lost 3 of 4 now, including a rough loss to the Dolphins in Week 18 that we just saw. Tua only had 100 yards, but they put up over 30 points. That's just not something you want to see against a subpar offense all season. And over the past 4 weeks, you already mentioned it, so I wasn't going to say that. But Mac, 6-5 touchdown interception ratio. The Patriots are going to have to play perfect football if they want to somehow come away with this game. Mac's not going to have any turnovers because Josh Allen could throw an interception or two. But I also know that Buffalo has an explosive offense, and they could score quickly. While on the other hand, the Patriots are going to be much more methodical. They have to go on 10-plus play drives to really make scores happen. So I got the Bills in this one. I think they win comfortably, something like 30-20, 28-20. I think the Bills won't have much of a problem handling New England.
I just want to say really quick that I did misspoke. I misspoke. I said strides when I just meant to say he had a solid year, and he definitely showed that he could be an NFL quarterback. But ultimately, what you guys said was 100% correct. Didn't want to interrupt you guys. I figure I'd just say it now. The wheels fell off for this entire New England team. Outside of the run game, the passing game has stalled because ultimately, you guys already went over it. The wide receiver, the tight end options are just not good enough. As good as Hunter Henry has been for them in the red zone, to get to the red zone, it is very reliant on the two running backs that they have back there. And of recent, Ramondre has been struggling with some injuries too, so Brandon Bolden has had to step in, and he hasn't been bad by any means. He was actually their leading rusher last week. But I've been very consistent on this. I am not the highest on Mac Jones. I just think as of right now, you can't look at these two teams and just think that the Patriots are going to come away with this win, given the fact that Bill Belichick's the head coach and he's just one of the smartest, if not the smartest football mind that there is around now currently in 2022. The Bills are just one of the hottest teams in football, both AFC and NFC. And that's scary. You look at last season, the Bucs, it took them a certain amount of weeks to finally turn their season around. And once they had that game against the Chiefs, it seemed like something clicked after that first quarter. And the hottest teams end up going to the Super Bowl and sometimes winning the Super Bowl. And the Bills are looking like one of those teams.
I don't want me taking the Bills to take anything away from what I've said about Mac. I'm still very high on Mac Jones. I just want to make that clear. And I still easily think that he is going to be the best quarterback out of Alabama, at least of the quarterbacks that are currently in the NFL. So Tua and Hurts, Mac Jones is still the best one out of all of them. The Patriots just have to play a certain way to win football games. They have to run the ball, they have to have the lead, and they have to really just rely on their defense to hold offenses afloat, but they can't play from behind. I don't think they're built that way or they're geared towards that. That's why I think the Bills have this game, and I think the Bills are looking at the Patriots like, we just want to make Mac Jones beat us. If we can hone in on the run and we can make Mac Jones beat us and target Bourne and Aguilar and N'Keal Harry and Hunter Henry, then we'll be fine in this game. I think the final score will be 24-13. I got the Bills in this one.